And I appreciate the Minister being here to take this debate. Minister, the area of Clongriffin and Belmayne is growing in size. The population is growing. Frequently there are renewed plans put in place for expansion of that entire community. The projected population over a number of years into the future is about 50,000. We're talking effectively about a large town, if not a small city, in scale of population over the coming years. A number of years ago I had in this chamber a debate with then Minister for Education, Richard Bruton, about the need for a new secondary school in that area. And at the time I was told by the Minister that it wasn't necessary, the population didn't warrant it. And then within 18 months the department had changed their mind, having looked at the population trends, looking at the projected population, and indeed have granted the establishment of a new second-level school in that area, and thankfully Educate Together are to get the patronage of it, and is to open in September. I make that point purely to state that in relation to policing, to security, to a sense of community, a Garda Station we feel would be of benefit to that community. Now, currently there is what we might basically call a Garda clinic that takes place in one of the community hubs, one of the community rooms in Clongriffin, called the Junction, of a Saturday. They sign forms, they do the basic Garda work. They're available to assist that community. But So the Gardaí themselves are doing their best as they can with the resources that they have to serve the community in whatever way they can. So clearly there is seen to be a need for a Garda presence of that nature in that area. What I'm suggesting to you, Minister, is that this area is growing in size. We have been criticised as politicians in the past for not having forward planning. We build residential units. We don't build a community around those residential units that can serve that community. So I'm saying at this early stage, just as I said 2 years ago about the need for a new second-level school, and I and the campaigners were proved to be correct on that, and we managed to be successful in that endeavour, there is a need for a Garda Station. I know that the government policy has changed over the last number of years to move away from Garda Stations being stationary and to put emphasis on transportation of Gardaí in vehicles and on bikes and in cars, and I appreciate that move. However, given the scale of this community, given the size of the population, given the numbers that are being expected to move into that area, at the very least I think a positive response from your department in looking at the issue at the very least of establishing a Garda Station in that area that can work with the new communities, give advice to planners on how best to construct new residential entities, and with transport links, etc., will have huge benefit to what I'm sure you will accept, Minister, is effectively, if not a large town, effectively a small city being built on the outskirts of Dublin City itself.
Minister.
Thanks very much. But myself and the Minister Flanagan, who since his apologies he's in the Dáil, would like to thank the Senator for raising this matter today. The Senator will be aware that the resources provided by the Government to Garda Síochána have reached unprecedented levels, with an allocation of for 2019 of €1.76 billion. This represents an increase of over 6% of the initial allocation for 2018. Very significant capital investments also made in Garda Síochána, including investment of €242 million in Garda ICT infrastructure between 2016 and 2021 to enable investment of €46 million in the Garda fleet over the same period, as well as considerable capital investment in addressing the deficiencies in the Garda estate. This investment is in support of the Government's commitment to ensuring a strong and visible police presence throughout the country in order to maintain and strengthen community engagement, provide reassurance to citizens and to deter crime. However, the Senator will appreciate that the Garda Commissioner is primarily responsible for the effective and efficient use of the resources available to Garda Síochána, including responsibility for the formulation of proposals in relation to the opening and closing of Garda stations, taking into account crime trends and policing priorities, to ensure that the best possible use is made of these resources. Further, the programme for replacement and refurbishment of Garda accommodation is progressed by the Garda authorities, working in close cooperation with the Office of Public Works, which is responsibility for the provision and maintenance of Garda accommodation. The Minister for Justice and Equality has no direct role in these matters. Minister Flanagan and I are aware that the Senator and some local representatives have suggested that a new Garda station at Clongriffin and Belmayne is required due to population growth and development in the area, as the Senator has pointed out. Bearing in mind that it is a matter for the Commissioner to efficiently manage Garda resources, on behalf of the Minister Flanagan, I can confirm that the Clongriffin and Belmayne area, as referred to by the Senator, is located within the Coolock Garda district. I confirm on behalf of Minister Flanagan that the Garda authorities indicate that the area receives ongoing attention from Gardaí assigned to Coolock District. We further understand that local Garda management in the DMR North Division is aware of issues relating to antisocial behaviour in the locality, and in addition to routine patrols by mobile patrol units, Garda foot patrols and members of the community policing unit have also deployed additional personnel, particularly to specific areas identified as public disorder, antisocial behaviour hotspots, to address this type of criminality. In addition, the Garda authorities indicate that the community policing unit of Garda Station has ongoing engagement with various residential, commercial and business groups in the community, providing personal security and crime prevention advices at regular meetings throughout the district. We understand that local Garda management locally has put in place specific initiatives targeting antisocial behaviour of young drivers, including intelligence-led initiatives, and that Garda Síochána works closely with the local authorities to reduce such incidents and opportunities for joyriding, antisocial behaviour and public disorder. Garda checkpoints to prevent and detect criminality across the districts have resulted in the detection of road traffic offences, the recovery and seizure of firearms, the disruption of the sale of supply of drugs and the execution of warrants. We are informed that monitoring of crime trends and initiating frequent short-term and varied crime prevention and detection initiatives continue to be strategies employed by local Garda management to target criminal behaviour and spikes in specific types of criminality, including driver-related offences and other forms of antisocial behaviour. As I said at the outset, on my own behalf and on behalf of Minister Flanagan, it is a matter for the Commissioner to manage and direct Garda resources, and this includes responsibility for the formulation of proposals in relation to the opening and closing of Garda stations. Indeed, the Senator may recall in that regard that the programme for partnership government included a commitment for a review of Garda districts and disbursement of resources. The resulting report of the Garda Síochána Inspectorate, entitled Policing with Local Communities, which is submitted to Minister Flanagan by the Policing Authority and published in December 2018, also finds that responsibility for decisions on boundaries and disbursement of Garda resources, including the number, type and location of Garda stations, should rest with the Garda Commissioner, as is currently the case. I understand that the Garda authorities do not currently propose a new station in the area referred to by the Senator.
Well, the response is the response. So, briefly, Senator.
Yeah, Minister, I appreciate your response, but I don't accept it. I mean, quite frankly, it is nonsense to suggest to this House or to me that it is the role of the Garda Commissioner to make these decisions, when we all know a member of the Cabinet is well able to trumpet the fact that he apparently was successful in reopening Step-Aside Garda Station and is willing to tell all of his constituents as often as he possibly can that it was his intervention that made that happen. So for you to suggest here that there is no political interference or was no political interference or influence on that decision, to me is a statement of an untruth. I know it certainly went against the advice of the Assistant Garda Commissioner, as stated in these Houses. The Oireachtas, he wasn't in favour of it. He didn't feel it was a proper use of Garda resources. So what I'm saying to you, Minister, is not good enough to come in here and say to me that it's nothing to do with government when it is. I'm saying to you that 2 years ago, government said there wasn't need for a secondary school in that area, and now the government says that there is. And I'm saying to you that there is a need for a Garda station in that locality because of the projected population, and I'm quite sure in years to come somebody in your position will come in here to say that actually you've changed your mind. So what I'm saying to you now, Minister, is please stop coming in here saying it's not a political decision when it clearly is, and will you please revert the priorities of your department to this new population centre and give it the service that it clearly needs.
I'm not sure if the Minister has anything to add.
Yeah, just very briefly. Again, I want to thank the Senator for his for raising this matter. It is an important matter, there's no doubt about that. But again, on behalf of Minister Flanagan, I wish to reiterate that while we understand that the Garda authorities do not currently propose a new station for the area, as referred by the Senator, the Garda authorities have informed the Department of Justice and Equality that they are aware of the issues arising in the locality and that local Garda management have put in place specific initiatives to address these issues. I also understand that Garda Síochána works closely with the local authorities and local stakeholders as appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you.